Hello, folks. Welcome along once again to another edition of the Irish Rally Podcast in association with TreeRock.ie. We're delighted to be back here previewing the 2022 Dual Donegal International Rally. Finally, we're getting a stab at a podcast on the Donegal Rally. Since we set up a couple of years ago, we haven't had the opportunity to do so, obviously, and absolutely buzzing for it. Mega event, lots laid on, real excitement, everyone's buzzing, and we have plenty of top-class guests as always to talk us through the action. First things first, we are going to talk to the COC of the event, Mr. Eamonn McGee. I think he's backstage. Eamonn, good evening. How are you?
How are you? How are you, Gavin?
Not too bad. I know you're out there. You're still tying up a few bits. Lots of late nights and early mornings the last few days and probably the last few weeks.
Well, it has been, and when you get near the event, you tend to get a lot of wee bits and pieces. You have to get to sort out here. We would call the houses with president passes and PR issues and stuff like that. Just tying up loose ends just at the moment, Kevin.
Yeah. In fairness, I was just remarking off air there. Probably not too dissimilar to lots of other years, but there's no excuse for not getting a good recce done. So you've made it fairly freely available over the past couple of days. So 5 days, explain it to me again. You were saying to me off air.
What we would have done is we have 5 days and you can pick 3 days out of the 5. So it allows for the people coming from far, that they can come up on the Wednesday or the Tuesday and do recce for the weekend. Then the local boys are out all weekend, over the weekend, like that kind of thing. But we had the big uptake. We'd have nearly 100 cars out every day this last couple of days there now. But bar Monday, we had no recce on Monday.
Yeah. Well, it's very good because, as you were saying, some people would like to come up maybe the week of the rally and just stay up, and some people can come up the weekend before and the weekend after. So I suppose it caters for everyone, and that's a good thing.
That's what we were planning on. Especially we have to watch for the English competitors and the foreign people coming in from far to do the event. Like they'll be coming in from the day on, and they have a couple of days to do it then.
Yeah. How many years are you COC at this now at this stage? As long as I've been going up, you've been COC anyway.
This is but probably this will be my 11th year at it now at the moment, Kevin. I think it's the longest one so far in Donegal, I think.
Yeah. It's mad because anytime I go up there in the middle of all the madness and the chaos, you just seem to be so calm. I don't know if there's too many people that could do the job that you do, to be honest, and still stay so calm in the middle of it. But sure, that's probably one of the reasons why you got the job in the first place.
Well, again, I suppose, but again, it's not all about me. There's a big team of men out there working. It's easy to be calm when everybody else is out there. There's a good team on the ground, and especially over the weekend, we have strong help coming from far and near to help us out. So it makes my life a lot easier, and the middle of it all too as well.
Yeah. I have to say, as someone that has marshalled there previously, Marshall's looked after so well up there. You want for nothing up there, in fairness, and it's always good fun as well. But I believe you're still chasing a few marshals for the weekend.
Look, we it's a big weekend. We're expecting. I think we're expecting big, massive crowds like it. We haven't been out in 3 years, so again, we would look. There are places where we would, the more help you have, the easier it is to make it happen, And we don't want to lose stages, and we want to have a good backup of people on the ground, and the more people and anybody wants to come along, the more than welcome to come and help out, and be part of the whole experience up to Donegal.
Yeah. New service park this year as well, Eamonn.
There is the new service park. We're going probably what us been in the European round, service parks 3 days in the one spot, and then we have a refueling and all that goes with it. So it's a lot easier on the crews. When they set up on tomorrow morning, they'll set up Thursday morning now, and they're there till Sunday night again. So it makes life a lot easier for them as well.
Yeah. I suppose in terms of traffic, it's always tasty going in there of a Thursday evening or a Friday evening. It doesn't be too bad on a Saturday, I don't think, in fairness. But
No.
Is there any advice apart from common sense and trying to get there a little bit earlier?
Well, it's the early man that gets to it. But again, we've been working with the Garda there for the last months there too, and they have a plan in place, and hopefully that they'll. We had roadworks here on the dual carriageway, but that's all put aside now. And we're 4 lane. We have, I think it'll work. It'll come on all right there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll work with the Garda, and we'll hopefully it'll clear handy enough.
Yeah. Something I've been meaning to ask, and I haven't really got a chance to interview you since this podcast started, but I do recall a couple of years, and while we're at it, actually, I want to compliment Highland Radio because the balance that they were able to give between an Ulster Senior Football final and the rally was just incredible. How they were able to do it and get it so right, I think it was a big testament to them and Oisin and all the lads that's involved. But for you, obviously, that had presented headaches because with the two lads playing on the team, you're out seeing there's an Ulster title won or an Ulster title lost, and you're not even seeing a ball kick. Like, that's mental.
And I know that, and what we had, unfortunately, we had the chance this year to look at it, but it didn't go our way either. But no, it has been. I know it was good, but it's good to have that, and it was good to be able to be in a part of that year time too when the boys were playing and I was doing Donegal. Like everybody had their own game plan in place, and so I had to look after mine. They looked after theirs. Like so.
Mm-hmm. And would you be able to keep a little bit of an ear on what was going on, or was there any time in the middle of all the madness?
Well, you would always get a wee, like you would be passing some junction and some man would tell them they're 2 points up or they're 2 points down. There'd be somebody who'd always tell you what's the score, or, be in between something. You would keep an eye on it. Or you wouldn't be, but you would be kept informed at all times what's going on. Like you get an odd text message from clones too as well to tell you how things were going, how it wasn't going.
Yeah, and I'd say you'd probably rather have it to worry about this weekend. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out too well. Yeah.
No, that didn't go that way, but that's the way it goes. It'll be another year. We'll get.
And thankfully, we have a 50th Donegal rally to look forward to. So, just before we let you go, because we've a few more guests, any kind of message you want to deliver just before we do finish up with you there this evening? Because I know you're tight on time.
Well, suppose the biggest message we would put out is anybody that's coming to watch or to even to help or to watch, like especially the spectator, we would advise them we don't want to lose no stages or nothing, or it's a big event. Abide, stay safe, abide by the marshals, and help us along to make sure that all the stages do run. Like we don't want to lose stages over crowd congestion or anything like that. Like so, appeal to them just to be sensible in where they stand and work with the marshal that's on the ground there for the weekend.
Good stuff. Well, listen, Eamonn, the very best luck to you and all the team involved, and hope it goes well for you. All right. Thanks for joining us here this evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for asking.
There you go, Mr. Eamonn McGee. Aidan Harper's backstage. I'm just going to bring him in here for a minute or two. The president of Motorsport Ireland. Welcome along this evening, Aidan. Good to chat to you once more.
Thanks, Kevin. How are you?
Flying it, thanks. Nice and refreshed. We had a little bit of a sabbatical for a few weeks. We missed the Circuit of Munster, unfortunately, but we're back again. How's all with you?
All is very good now. We're ticking along nicely. Half year now coming up. Obviously, a big event ahead of us this weekend. But so far, Motorsport is doing really well. Our numbers are right up there. We're enjoying full entries. Especially in the rally, and other disciplines are doing really well as well. So we're having a really good year, and I suppose coming out of COVID, it's a great outlet for everybody to get back out there and do what they love. Yeah,
absolutely. I suppose we were just remarking upon things there with Eamonn in regards to safety, and this weekend, with the crowds, no different to any event, challenges can pop up, I suppose, and everyone has to be on their guard. And I suppose you will have a message there, maybe no different to previous messages, but obviously important to highlight once more.
Yeah, Kevin, absolutely. Look, Donegal is the biggest event of the year. It's the only 3-day event that we have, and due to the nature of Donegal, due to the quality of the entry, the traditional stages, it's an incredible crowd puller. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You have two elements of spectators that go to Donegal. You have people who go out to spectate it on the stages, and then you have people who just go to spectate on the streets and other areas around. So it's getting that fine balance out there. But for people attending the rally, the real rally spectators, we want, as Eamonn was saying there a few minutes, every stage to run on time. And the trick for that is for everybody to be in their place nice and early. Don't be leaving it to the last minute. You'll have your maps. A lot of you have bought them online already. Most of you then will collect your maps in service stations all around the county on your way up to Donegal. Don't be straggling in last minute into the stage, because that's what causes the delays. We can't start a stage when there's people walking on it or making their way to a junction. We have to make sure everything is clear. Box junctions are clear. Stage sections are clear. The earlier you're in position, the quicker the course cars can get through the stage and get the stage up and running. So it's paramount that you're there on time. And then when you're moving between stages, give yourself enough time to get between the stages safely and to get to your next stage location, wherever that may be. Plan your day, plan your route, know where you're going, but be on time and be before time either, because that's the crux of it. Traditionally every year, Knockgala, we lose 20-30 minutes because spectators are arriving late. And that has a huge knock-on effect then to the schedule for the rest of the day. We have to remember the event is for the competitors, obviously, who have entered, and they need to get as much stage mileage as possible. And they want stages efficiently and on time, and they don't want to be sitting in rally cars that is too hot or whatever the case is. So, we have to think of the competitor all the time. Where spectators are the sideshow, really. They're there to watch the razzmatazz, there to watch the high performers. But at the end of the day, the stages are for the competitors. So working together, we will achieve all of that. But the big message is get out there in time. Give yourself lots of time. I know you chatted to him there earlier on there about congestion and stuff like that. Like, congestion is the biggest killer up there at the weekends, and the Gardaí have a huge traffic plan in place. But plan your day well and get into the stages early.
I believe positive conversations were had between the organisers of the rally on Garda Síochána and, as you say, people that like to go up and show off the cars, and that's really good to see, in fairness.
Absolutely. Look, in fairness to Donegal, they've done an incredible amount of work at a local level, working with the people of the town and the county, working with the councils on Garda Síochána, etc., in order to ensure that what happens off the stages is very peaceful and calm, and that there's a relaxed atmosphere. A lot of people who will go to the event at the weekend will go to show off their cars on the road sections and in around the town of Letterkenny, etc. And we just appeal to those people just to abide by the rules of the road. And there'll be a huge Garda presence around. We want to make sure that the rally is not tainted in any way, and that it brings the enjoyment to the county that it always does, and that we keep motorsport in good fettle all around, be it in the hills of Donegal, right away around the country down to the southern borders of Cork. So we want to make sure that the race is kept in its place all the time, and that is on the stages and not off the stages.
And just very quickly, I suppose, as regards the presidency, how has expectations matched reality?
I suppose I'm halfway through the first year, coming into the half year. It's certainly challenging, Kevin. There's no doubt about it. Every day there's something different, because there's a huge balance there between my normal job, my real job, and obviously Motorsport Ireland. So the real job takes precedence during the day, and motorsport kicks in the evening. There's a lot of change afoot. We have made some changes within the office. Art McCarrick has been promoted to sporting manager, which is great for our sport. We hadn't had a proper manager in the office since our former CEO left us. So Art has come into that role now within the office as sporting manager, and we've made other changes as well. We have a new financial accountant who has started with us, and we have some additional administration starting in the office as well. And this is all around making sure we have the right people in the right places so that we can serve our customer base, which really is the competitors and the clubs at the end of the day. So a big board of works has gone on there in relation to right sizing the office and getting that right, because you have to start from the internal. the internal side of it. In relation to our commissions, the commissions are busy. They're working away. There's lots of various plans. We obviously have 2 new commissions this year. We have the Women in Motorsport Commission, and we also have the Competitors Commission. So there are 2 new commissions that are working away well, along with our other commissions. So lots of foot at the minute, and lots to come. We'll be building up towards our Congress now in October, and obviously rolling out and looking at the preparation of our strategic plan for the next 3 years. So it's very busy, Kevin. There's a lot happening, and every day or every week there's something new. So I'm quite positive of where we are at the moment.
Good stuff. Well, Aidan, thanks a million for joining us, and no different to what I said to Eamon. The best luck to you and all the MI officials over the weekend. All right.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Take care.
Thank you. Next up, we're going to bring in someone who knows all about Donegal International Rally as a competitor, as someone who's worked on it, as someone who I suppose has had close relations, sponsorship-wise, and different things like that. Miss Tony Kelly, how are you doing?
How are you, Kevin?
You're flying it. You were due a visit to us. Thanks for coming on, sure. No better times as you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Sure, it's great to spend an evening chatting about rally, isn't it?
Yeah. What else would you be asked to do? And a 50th anniversary as well. Look, everyone's buzzing, aren't they?
I know, time is flying. Like, I remember the 35th as if it was yesterday. Like, to hear the 50th celebration starting now is just absolutely mad. But it'll be absolutely beautiful to see the weekend, come back to us with the 50th celebrations there as well. Like, it's been a long time since we've had the rally at this point, like, and to have such a big milestone now is just, it's great. Like, so I can imagine that the weekend is just going to be absolutely incredible, to be honest.
What's your earliest memory of the rally?
Do you know, when I think back, they genuinely all mesh together as just this great time in my life where I just always seem to be in a wee rally suit or a boiler suit and kind of running around the back of I think they were estate cars in them days. You were allowed to do chase cars and stuff. So, I think one of my very, very early memories was actually at the bottom of Knockalla. And again, I think it was a chase car that I was in, but I think it was the Pink Panther, or else it was Yorkie. I can't remember, but they would be James Cullen's cars now. But there were definitely chocolate bars involved anyway. So it had to be one of those two, I think. And I mean, back in those days, like, that's what we remembered. We remembered who was sponsoring because of, there was one year Wrangler sponsored James, like, and everybody was wearing Wrangler jeans, like, so that's kind of back in those days, like, that's kind of how I remember the different events. But they're all sort of the one, if you get me. But like, I just always remember being no size, and sort of just like literally maybe being the same size as the same height as a wheel, and kind of running around the service area, like, and torturing Dad to take me everywhere. But Jesus, the memories are incredible. Like, I was actually even thinking today, there was one year, and I don't know why, but I wasn't with Dad, and I went out with friends of Dad's. They were down from Dublin. Dave Kerrigan used to work for Honda, and I was out with them. And again, I was no age because I was able to get up on the shoulders of the guys whenever we were out in the stages. But I'll never forget it. This story's been told a million times before, but sitting, on somebody's shoulders, and it was Paul Harris actually came over a crest, and whatever way he landed, a wee stone got flicked up into the air and hit me in the eye. And I remember just thinking, this was obviously, in the moment it was horrendous, but thinking it was great that a rally car had actually had that much of an effect on me, so it was just like,
rallying definitely hits you hard.
it literally hit me hard. Like, and I just there's so many memories, like, and I remember, I suppose, in terms of driving, and thinking that, I could do it possibly, or it is, cheapers, maybe I could get a go here, was Natalie Barrett was here. And I haven't a clue what year that was. I would say I was a teenager though. And she was here in I think it was a yellow Evo at the time. And I remember thinking, well, jeepers, right, okay, if that girl can do it, that's my aim then. I think she was the first female driver I'd ever seen And again, I've no idea what year that was, but I suppose that was the memory that stands out in terms of me actually thinking I could have a go at it myself, you know.
And then it did happen, I think, in 06, was it? Was that your first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
06 was my first year. I got the license at the end of 05, the driving license, and then there was literally a mad rush between August and kind of the next year to get to Motorsport Ireland, and get the paperwork applied for, and then you had to go to Rally School Ireland as well. And then it was just a race to get the amount of events finished that you needed at the time. I think it was it 7 or 9? I can't remember, something along those lines. In order to be able to do the international rally. So I think then, by the time Donegal came around, it was June, and we had the number of events under the belt, so we were able to actually compete, and we got away that year in the black car, and then the 2007 Civic came along, then the white one. So the 06 was the very first year I'd competed.
Can you remember the first stage, what you were feeling like before you went onto the first stage, or even the night before, or anything like that?
I will never forget it, because I swear to God, we weren't a mile into the stage. It was Brina, and it was absolutely bucketing, and the wiper came off the car. The wiper broke, and I remember being like, "Oh, why did I sign up to this? What am I doing?" But more than everything in rallying, that is just rallying, and at any point in any given stage, something's probably going to go wrong, and you just kind of have to keep your nerves and get yourself to the end of the stage, and then sure, you feel like you're on top of the world and nothing's going to bother you, But I don't think I'll ever do anything as nuts or challenging as those first couple of years of rallying, just trying to keep your head together, to be able to actually kind of think about what you were doing, but also not think too much about what you were doing, and just sort of enjoy it. I always remember I was a bucket of nerves. I just was such a nervous wreck before any event, let alone stage. But it was just I do remember the first Donegal as well has been massively exciting. I remember just feeling like I had made it. Nothing else in life would ever match to this, or I wouldn't really even need to do much more in life, because this is it. This is the pinnacle.
Yeah. Even 2 appearances in Rally Ireland wouldn't come near it.
Didn't come near it. Now, in fairness, once they were done, once the first stages were done in Donegal, once that first event was done, I remember being at the prize given in 2006, and somebody saying to me, "Where are you going next?" I literally was like, Jesus, I don't even know. I literally remember standing in the Mount Errigal in the function room being like, I don't even know what rally's next. Nothing mattered after that Donegal. But then we got into the swing of it, and obviously we kept going. And of course, Rally Ireland was obviously one of those ones that, again, that was another level of kind of enjoyment that you'll never probably reach again. But the Donegals now were very, very special. They'll always be. They'll always be just those moments that you'll never ever forget.
It's mad that you speak of how maybe nervous you might have been during those years, and then your career takes you down the kind of journalism route and presenting and stuff, where you seem so calm and measured and calculated and confident. It's mad the way the mind works, isn't it?
Absolutely insane. My day job now is hypnotherapy, and I got into it because of rally and because of that accident I had in Rally Ireland in 07. And it's essentially all about working with the mind and how you can essentially harness the power of it to get you to do what you want to be able to do. And the TV stuff, I thought I was nervous when I was driving, but I will never forget driving to Plum Tyndall's house those first couple of events to meet the team and to kind of go from there or whatever. I thought I was nervous rallying. I was not. That was not nerves, God, the TV stuff and then the radio stuff, that had me in absolute bits. So it's one of those things, you put on no more than when you're driving, you just put on you put on the sort of the professional cap and you go and you do your job and you make it look like you kind of you know what you're doing, but like underneath it all you're you're dying a wee bit because you can't cope with the nerves, you know. But it's like anything in life, you know, you have to push yourself and you have to if you love it, it'll always eventually, once the nerves go, like it'll always feel like home eventually, you know.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well. And there's even times if I'm going out somewhere to do interviews and that, you'd still be a little bit nervous, like, and then you just said you're there to have the crack and have fun while taking
This
the
is
job
it.
seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and that's it. And it does take a little bit of time to get used to that, though. Like, it's not something that just happens overnight. But it's the same with everything in life, I believe.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
but
And
yeah,
even simple things like tonight, sure, I mean, my stomach was going before I logged on here. And, you know, it's one of those things, you just, as you hit the nail on the head, you literally just, you kind of just get used to it being normal. And you get comfortable with it. And you know that within a few minutes it'll disappear and then you'll feel at home again.
I'd often think, what would it be like if you didn't have those feelings, be it going on a podcast, presenting a podcast, or getting behind the wheel of a rally car or whatever. And then I think to myself, if I didn't have those, I don't know if I could do it. That's literally it in a nutshell. You know?
Yeah, exactly that. Like, yeah, it's that essentially what it is it's adrenaline into your system. So as soon as that enters, it's giving you that hyper vigilant, that focus that you need to be able to actually do exactly what you're doing. So it's one of those things that feels very uncomfortable in the body and you just kind of want to run away from it, but it's actually what keeps you kind of focused in the moment. So it's actually something that we should be massively grateful for, which I did eventually learn through hypnotherapy, thank God.
Yeah. Brian Cody taught me something excellent before. It's mad. He's just one of those examples where you go to interview someone and you think, right, he's heard all these questions before. You're going to get your typical kind of, you know, cliched answers or whatever. So it was before an All-Ireland final 2016, I think it was, against Tip. And I recited a Barry McGuigan quote, which was, fear was like fire. You can use it to warm your house or you can let it burn the house down. He's like, yeah, but you can set fire to your opponent with it as well. Literally just off the cuff, like. I thought it was great, in fairness, you know.
Quick thinking, like.
Yeah, just quick off the mark. I'm going to bring in another Donegal person while we have him here, because I know he's under a bit of pressure. Mr. Declan Gallagher, how are you, sir?
Not so bad now, yourselves.
Yes, Declan.
Flying it.
Nice things tonight.
I'll go in here in the middle. I'll go in here in the middle and referee this Donegal back here. So out and about today, or what way you fix recce wise, or?
No, I did most of my wrecking there on Saturday and Sunday. Probably 90% of it done. So I might go out for a run over the Friday stages, done twice. So I'll do one run over the Friday stages on Thursday, and not too bad that way now. So it's just we've done a bit of a test there yesterday and stuff with the car and that too. So no, we're in good enough out shape now, in fairness.
Good stuff. And obviously you don't have the headaches that you had a few months ago regarding the car and all this talk about engine sizes and stuff, which I'm sure was doing your head in.
I will look at, we didn't have a great, I'd kind of planned on the Tarmac Championship this year, and we didn't have a great start anyway for, Galway. We didn't come out of the first stage. We kind of put ourselves under pressure then to get the car ready for West Cork, and to be told the Wednesday before it that you weren't allowed to go. So it was a tough enough blow that now, West Cork's a great rally and all, and but look at we're over that hurdle now. We can go rallying and without any hassle.
I recall down through the years the excitement when Oisin Kelly's given an update on Highland Radio as you're going around, and he gets to the milkman, and you just hear the excitement even saying the nickname. And I don't know whether it's right or wrong to ask on the Irish Rally podcast where that came from. I'm going to ask it anyway, will I have you? And many people probably know it, but I don't.
I will. It's a long time ago. My father was a local milkman, and we used to be on the run with him. So that's where the name came from. The name stuck, but the job's gone long ago. Yeah.
Simple as that. So your memories in general, seeing as it is the 50th anniversary, what stands out for you? What's your earliest memory, and then I suppose your best one competing?
The earliest memory is probably my uncles, Joe and Dermot McHugh, would have been rallying, and I'd always been watching Joe prepare the car and stuff, and probably stuck in the way half the time. But that's probably the earliest memories. Another memory that's sticking in my mind is somebody took me to watch it one year. Then I think it was '92. Fisher and McKinstry was in 2 Group A legacies, and I think it was the bottom of Donegal we were watching, and you want to hear the roar of them yokes coming up Donegal, and it was something else. If you didn't get the bug after that, you'd never have it,
Yeah.
But no, look at competing wise, I suppose. I don't know what 08 was the first time I done it driving. I navigated it probably a couple of years before that, with Clumbahina and John McHugh as well. I think we done myself John McHugh won the juniors in it. I think it was 06 or 07. I was navigating for him, but that's kind of a lot of memories, and a lot of done the rally a lot of times. So it's looking forward to it now, and I hope it goes all right.
I suppose the battle up there is always very, very intense. This year is going to be no different. It's a crazy entry, really. I don't recall. Have you ever seen an entry even close to that, like in terms of how the caliber of guys, the caliber of machinery?
Oh, it's serious. From the first car to the last car, like the quality, the entries there is something else. Like, it's a credit to the Motor Club, like for such a popular event. Like everybody wants to go there. The spectator wants to go there to watch it. The competitor wants to be there. Everybody wants to be involved, and it just goes to show when you've 70 or 80 cars in reserve, it means a lot to everybody to try and compete in it. Like.
Last but not least, the plan of attack.
Oh, I don't know. We're short on seat time this year, to be honest. And look at we'll give it a push early on and see if it's happening. If it's happening, it's happening. If not, we'll kind of do our own thing. But as I said, the likes of Kevin Eves and Ryan Loughran and Gary Kieran, and I'll look at there's a list of them and Daniel McKenna. There's so many people there that could win the national end of it. It's you could have 10 people there, 12 people there that would be capable of winning the national. And we're not going to get too wrapped up in it, and try and enjoy it, and get to the finish ramp, get to the Mount Donegal on Sunday evening. That's the main aim.
That's it. That's all you can do. Well, the very best luck, and thanks for taking the time to have a chat with us this evening, Declan. All right.
Not a bother. Thanks a million.
Good luck, Declan.
Now, I didn't realise we were doing an outside broadcast this evening. What's the story here, Mr. Nestor? How are you doing? Can you hear us? We cannot hear you. Your microphone is off. See, can I switch it on here? Nope. Hit that or wrap there if you can. It's picturesque anyway. Tourism Ireland and Falls Ireland will like that. There we go.
Is that better? Do you like that?
That's better
now.
So
Lovely.
actually, we were texting to say it was better when he was muted.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I had a few people asking me where was I. Well, you see, you had the COC on, and I noticed we had our very good president on. I couldn't possibly tell you where I was, but I'm currently sitting in Rathbullen at the end of Knockallat. This is where we're staying for the week. I must. Hi, Tony. By the way, I met Tony.
How are you,
during.
Anthony?
I'm the very best. I actually Googled you because when I was sending out we've a competitors motorsport group WhatsApp, a couple of hundred people in it, and it has just evolved over time. But I wanted to give you a proper title, so I Googled you, and I see something that you do in a professional capacity that I've actually done. I've experienced it, and I'm trying to convince my driver. I think I have him sold on the idea. I never even know you did it. I leave it up to you to decide whether you mention it or not. But I thought it was interesting. But yes,
the day job, is it, Anthony?
The day job, I didn't realise you did that as a day job.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Hypnotherapy. Yeah,
hypnotherapy. Yeah, I went through it. Now that I actually know somebody, I experienced it with a company in Dublin last year, just on a separate issue away from rallying.
Yeah.
And absolutely amazing.
It's incredible.
It is, yeah. And
that's what I was telling Kevin. That's how I ended up getting into it. Was I had the accident in Rally Ireland in 2007, and didn't think there was any issues. You know, I got out of the car and the next event was Galway in 08, but got into the car in Galway and had a panic attack. Literally couldn't drive. And went to hypnotherapy and life changed after that. I was literally a better driver after that. Like,
I was actually listening to everybody's interview while I was making my way here from where I was. But yeah, it's an amazing thing. And
it does change things for
the whole
rallying.
confidence, it does, yeah. It's in the confidence factor. I was actually ended up reading as we were going along the road to come back. I was reading up on the whole confidence thing, so it was very interesting. I must say, lads, to be fair, just as the three of us are on, I missed Aidan Harper, our president. What a proactive man. We obviously, that's a spur of the moment thing. He just took it upon himself to come on with a safety chat. How often would you get a president? I'm sure he has other things to be doing tonight leading up to the rally, just to give 5 minutes of his time. It's
really passion for the sport, isn't it?
Isn't it amazing? Yeah. And like, he's seen it all, and like I don't know, did he mention like he's the safety officer for the weekend, like, so he's doing two jobs, like, to be fair. It's I don't think we've had such a proactive president ever in the sport here in Ireland that I'm aware of. That's really hands-on. He's on the ground from probably tomorrow morning, like, and I'm sure with safety checks and that, he's been up several times before. I did listen to Eamonn McGee. God, Eamonn looks tired. I was funny that it was a pity really that I wasn't able to log in at the time, because I was going to have a bit of sport with him. The poor man, he must have had so many sleepless nights up to now. It's he'll be glad when it's all over on Sunday night.
I know. It's probably adrenaline and caffeine at this stage keeping him going.
It is probably. One thing I would say, I see one thing he mentioned, and it's a great success. There's 100. How many cars is in the thing between the main field and the historic endurance?
160 main field anyway, isn't it?
160. We were just chatting. Obviously, we're recceing today, but we reckon we made about 8 cars in the whole day, which proves Eamonn McGee's theory and the theory of the way to do the recce right, in that for residents, the side has been drawn today. It's so quiet. We pulled up at one stage and we had, I was going to say we had some healthy food. We had crisps and kinds of mineral. And I think maybe one other recce car passed us. Residents were able to come and go. There's no constant train of cars coming and disrupting everybody.
No, it's the safest way, isn't it?
Oh, it is, absolutely, yeah. And it's so much more relaxed. We were part at the start of Knockalla there earlier now, and one other competitor in 15 minutes appeared, like, because it's so incredible. Spread out over the different days, so it works out ideal.
It has to keep the locals much more settled and happy with the event. Like, I mean, I know it goes on for a little bit longer, but it's more stable and it's less intense, I suppose.
I'm just looking there, Tony. Am I right in saying, Mr. Regan, that is a very prominent T-shirt you have in the background?
Yeah, absolutely.
That champions anniversary is quite soon.
Yeah, in fairness, I think it was a couple of years ago. Was it Megan McCusker came up with the novel idea to get the Manus Kelly tribute jerseys, and purchased one at the time, and just with the event this weekend and being the first one without Manus, I think it's just nice to put it in the background. And it would be remiss of us, obviously, not to mention him on the podcast this evening.
Absolutely.
I remember, and I may or may not have got to share this story before, but out of all the rallies I went to as a kid, with the bit of a sabbatical in the middle before I ended up going back 5 or 6 years ago, I think one of the first people I actually met outside of Mount Donegal was Manus Kelly, and I just could not believe. I didn't know the man from Adam, but how down to earth, how pleasant, how much of a character this man was. And I had no prior knowledge of what the man was like as a person. That was me making my own judgment in the moment, having met the man for the first time. And I just thought, what a gent. A man, literally, the man had just won it for the first time against the odds the year previous. Number 1 seed on the door. And all the time in the world the night before the rally.
Yeah, and as relaxed and as sort of just as chilled out as you could get. Like, honestly, no better man.
Yeah. class act.
I
Absolute class
must
act.
say, I didn't have the pleasure of knowing him. I got to say hello to him once. I just didn't know the chap at all. But I would say one thing: every time you saw him, he had a perpetual smile on him.
He did. Yeah.
Every photograph you see of him, he's beaming like a Cheshire cat.
Yeah. I actually didn't know Manus incredibly well. But funnily enough, obviously, over that, before the break there with COVID and stuff but over those 3 years, I got to know him a fair bit because our HQ was actually kind of always in TFS as well and stuff. But even before, he won the event and stuff like that, he just always meant an awful lot to me. He probably never even knew it, but he actually was my first ever interview. So,
wow.
with Plum, I only ever did the presenting, so I did the pieces to camera, for a long time. And it was kind of getting me more, because I'd no prior experience. It was kind of on the job, so I had no interview skills at all. And I remember, obviously, I'd been with Plum and followed him around service areas, so I'd seen what he was doing. And then the first time that he kind of was like, right, we'll try this today. Now, it was actually Manus in Milford. And I just remember he was such a gentleman and so nice to talk to, and didn't make me feel like an idiot for kind of maybe making mistakes or being nervous, and he just was so easy to talk to, and he kept the conversation going for me, and I'll never ever forget it, and even before he passed, it was just still such a special memory for me, but that was him. That was actually who he was. He was just such a gent and so easygoing.
What you saw is what you got, I guess.
I have something kind of really, really strange to share now, and this is as true as anything. I went up to visit the memorial site. It was in around this time last year, actually. And I'd gone in, said a prayer or whatever. And as I turned back around, about 20 birds went up into the air, flew one way and then flew the other way. And I just thought, that's very, very weird.
Yeah.
That's serious. That's goosebumps moment.
I'm not kind of deeply spiritual or anything like that, or superstitious or anything, but I just thought, wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
You're not alone.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think Tony might need to enroll him there and give him a bit of a pep talk. So.
Yeah, Jeannie. But there seems to be, everyone seems to have a story about Manus, and it's always a good story as well. You know what I mean?
Always one like mine, or any of ours actually, where basically we're singing his praises and we're kind of shook about how incredibly nice he was and how he took the time.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what was on his plate,
I think in an overall context, you would say that he was a positive influence on the sport in general.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, the sport has, like every sport, has its ups and downs, but he gave such a positive vibe. There was a great positive energy and a buzz off him.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of just different people, I never realised that Dermot and Joe McHugh were uncles to Declan Gallagher until he just said it.
Mm-hmm.
You may not remember. Were they the guys? They had an escort Cosworth for years. Did he? Is that? I think that's what he said. I don't know Declan at all. Yes, I heard you. I'm sure that's what he said. Maybe I'm wrong.
He did say those guys were his uncles now, but I think they could have been rallying before I would kind of have had any awareness as to who was rallying.
I'm sure my age again. Oh God.
I have Brian Duggan on standby, and I'm going to bring him in a moment's time. But Anthony, before I do that, I'd like to ask you, from all the years you've had competing, even though you're a co-host of this and you ask some questions as well, what's your memories of Donegal? What stands out for you?
The first thing that stands out is 5.5 hours from home. Oh Lord. I left home yesterday morning at 1 o'clock. My wife thought I was losing my marbles, and I got here at 5:30. We signed on at 9. Now, Red Bull is fantastic. I know we shouldn't be plugging one brand over another, but Lord, it's wings. I tell you could swim across Knockalla. Actually, a fantastic thing happened today with the way the lie of the recce was. We were trying to utilize time as best we could, and I was trying to plan this during the week. And we recce'd the Friday stages today, and then we hopped on a ferry, 15 minutes bottom of Knockalla, and off we go again. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. €17 for anyone that's out there, lads. Do the Friday stages.
I
We're
have-
going to use it and go back across now tomorrow and do the Fridays, back in the ferry again. And it's an hour's probably a drive. Tony would probably know it's probably an hour's drive around.
At
Actually,
least,
just something on a housekeeping factor. A lot of guys did Limerick as a trial run for Donegal. One thing I noticed for this rally, because I got out and measured them just for curiosity, the chicanes in Limerick, the chicanes in Ireland range between 10 meters to 12 meters face to face with the bales, with each element. In Limerick, there were 12, which is fine, but here they're 10. They're that bit tighter. So just for anyone that was carrying 40 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour, whatever the case may be in Limerick, be conscious they're 2 meters shorter between each element. The other thing, I think you and I spoke about it, Kevin, it was the tracker issue. It's just not too much a word of warning. To be conscious, this is aimed merely at competitors in general. The tracking, and it's a fantastic system, and I've had the honour of working in the tracking room for the Burr Rally. Be conscious that when the tracker goes off,
like a phone.
that is Owen Murphy for Cork, and he should know better. He should be sitting watching this. I shouldn't be using. Well, he could be actually, and I shouldn't be using that term. I shouldn't be using that term. He should know better, because the last time I said that, it ended up on a T-shirt. The tracker system. If the tracker goes off in a competitor's car and you get red flag, the driver or the co-driver will initially tell the driver, "Hi, the stage is scrapped. Bring it back to road speed," and you'll proceed slowly. I would suggest to competitors, be conscious that the car behind may not get the signal if he's in a dip or a bad area. And he may come behind you. Now, this happened in Killarney. He may come behind you at high speed, flashing and trying to get past you. Keep an eye in your mirror if you get the tracker signal, and keep an eye to the car that's coming 20, 10, 15 seconds, whatever it is behind you. Be conscious to make sure he's slowing down also. If he's not slowing down, we were trying to see, can we come up with an idea? And the A5 OK board that you have in your bag, or stuck with Velcro to the roof of the car, just stick it out the window and wave it, because that distraction alone they will realize there's a problem, and they won't try and pass you. It happened I'm pretty sure it was Killarney. I hope I'm not mixing up the rallies now, where one competitor got the red flag. The guy behind just happened to be in a bad area when the signal was sent to him. He didn't get it, arrived onto the car going slowly, that was red flag, passed him and kept going and arrived to a scene. So just be conscious of the car coming behind you, is all I'd say. It's just a bit of housekeeping more than anything else. But
something, obviously it wasn't the trackers. It wasn't the trackers in my day, but there was something on one of my last Donegals, I think, where there was something happened with a red flag and we had slowed down. We had seen it. So we were slowed down, like really, really, like probably slower than road speed. The guy behind mustn't have seen or didn't pay attention, and it was insane. Like, it literally rammed us,
Wow.
to try. And in the end up, it was Brian Murphy was sitting with me at the time, and in the end up, he had to get out. We had to stop the car and get out and actually explain to them that the stage is done. Like, and I don't know, it was just one of those things. I think the mist came down over the driver and they just were on a stage, and that was that.
I suppose when the adrenaline is pumping,
yeah.
You said to me, so why don't you put on the hazards lights? So that could mean
that
the car's
you're broken down.
nothing.
Yeah,
that means nothing. They're still going to pass you.
So in fairness, probably something, like the OK boards, or the SOS boards, like probably something very concrete has to be maybe designed or spoken about in order to, like, this is a whole new thing. We need to be made aware
absolutely,
of it.
yeah. No, I had a mad idea, and it's really only a last case, because remember, you're going so slowly, and the car that comes behind you won't appear all of a sudden. The driver will be conscious. He'll be watching and waiting for him, and he'll appear over time. You'll see him gradually come closer to you.
Yeah.
One of the ideas I had, look, to be fair, it's not for everybody, would be open the passenger's door and just wave it down. That alone, if you see a door either opening or a hand going out the window,
hand out the window, even,
or the SOS board, they'll know then. Hold on, there's an issue here. Let's back off. There's a problem.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I think it's something as simple as that.
it's simple. And look, to be
hands
fair,
going out
we
the window.
don't have as you know, as much and all as people try. No place in the world is going to have perfect 4G coverage or whatever type of signal they use for this. And it has happened, and it may happen in the future, where there's little dead spots, because the signal to red flag a car is only sent once.
Yes.
And you have to be in a sweet spot to collect it. So
if you miss it, it's gone.
It's only a little thing. Actually, another thing on Donegal, which it has come and passed their nose at all, the Recce DVD that has been around for quite a number of years that a lot of guys use, it's drivers, I suppose, mainly. It's gone. This is its last rally. It's been banned. Yeah, there's something that has happened unknowns to us all.
Yeah,
it's been banned.
Wow, that's incredible now that they've actually decided. And is there what's the reasoning behind it, or
I could give you an opinion, which will get me into trouble, but no, there's no official reason. No.
What's your opinion then?
I think it's a load of nonsense. What harm was it done? I would agree. I think there was an issue with the DVD and the notes going out several weeks in advance. To be fair, I couldn't see the logic of that now, because fellas were just going to watch it till they were blue in the face and read the notes in the backup.
Yeah.
The DVD and the notes coming out as it did historically, going back 20 years, when it came out on the Monday or Tuesday of a forestry rally, 3 or 4 days out, so you could have a quick look and see what the stage was like. Do you use a hard setup, a soft setup? Will we lower the car? Is it bumpy, jumpy, whatever? I couldn't see the harm in it. In fact, there was no harm in it. I just don't understand. I don't understand that there cannot be any logic. Would you deem it as illegal, Rakian? I suppose you could find any excuse eventually if we keep looking for one hard enough, but I don't know.
Would that not prevent illegal wrecking, though?
Yeah, that's...
Well, that's exactly what it would do. Of course it does, yeah.
And the guys in the WRC, do they not all record their recce's as well?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of think...
But everyone, a lot of the guys here, like we would record the recce's. Most of the guys I would be with record it anyway. You just have the GoPro and you record it and sit back and watch it. But it's only
unfortunately, Aidan is not backstage still. I would have actually brought him on and asked him there just if he was still knocking about, but
you're curious as to what the reason.
I wonder, is it anything mad like GDPR or anything like that through the locals on the stage or anything? No.
Yeah. Look, we'll.
You wouldn't know nowadays.
You wouldn't know, yeah. Sure, look, you wouldn't know nowadays, but again, it's something that's happened. Nobody's aware of it. They're aware of it now.
Yeah, we might know by next Tuesday when we go live again.
I better bring in
Mr. Brian Duggan. How are you keeping, sir?
Good evening, everyone. How are we doing?
All right, Ryan.
Good evening, Cork.
Good evening.
It's like the Eurovision.
There's no view like this. There's no view like this down in Cork.
There isn't
Mullen Beach behind me. We're sitting here in a lovely summer's evening, and Stuart Biggerstaff has gone to the chip shop. So it doesn't get any better than this.
Does not.
Exactly it.
There you go. Is Cork not the People's Republic? You're making it sound like it's Donegal now.
Cork?
No comment.
I sit with a Cork driver. They don't recognise any other county in Ireland as being the capital of the world or capital of Ireland.
Yeah, but I'm a Kerry man. I'm only living in Cork for economic reasons.
There we go.
Are you what is referred to, Brian, as one of these economic migrants? Is that what they would call you?
I'm here 21 years now, but I still consider myself a Kerry man.
Yeah, that would be hard to turn. That would be hard to turn there now, in fairness. This historic championship, it's very, very tight. You're currently leading with Luke. I think there's 3 points separate the top 3. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I mean the points probably need a bit of adjusting. There's a few people miss out points for certain rounds, and between ourselves we've kind of worked it out where we are, and it's actually a lot closer than that. Like, it's like six points cover the top 6 in the championship. And Maurice Mescal and Neil Williams are not in Donegal, but there's 2 drop rounds. Plus, for the historics only, there's double points in both the Cork 20 and the Ulster. So the championship is completely wide open. Anyone in the top 6 or 7 there can potentially win it. So plenty excitement for the weekend.
27 historic competitors, am I right in saying that?
27 on the list. Yeah, I think. Well, 25. I think can start. I think that's what the rules now allow. So there'll be 25 historic starting on Saturday morning. And as you can see the entry list, like it's the top 10 is nine BDAs and a Chevette HRS.
Wow.
So it's definitely going to be a fabulous soundtrack up Knockalla on Saturday afternoon.
What way does that work, Brian, regarding Tony might actually know that. I don't know the answer to this now. See where you have 200 people and you have X amount on the international rally, you have X amount of historics and X amount of juniors, and they're all oversubscribed. Does the international rally have to fill out first and then fill out the historic, or what way? Say, does the international have to exhaust all its reserves before they start pulling in the reserves of the historic rally and in turn the reserves of the junior? Just curious.
From my understanding, no. I think they're actually three separate rallies. Like there's the main field, the historics, and the juniors.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they all have their own published entry lists and their own reserve lists.
That's what I would have thought, yeah, that they were just completely separate and they kind of had to be run as separate entities.
Yeah. But as people have noticed, like across all entries, like there's very few withdrawals so far in this rally. Like.
I said that to Anthony, was it yesterday there? I think even in terms of the first withdrawal on the list up to last night, I think it was heading near car number 80, Anthony. Isn't that what we're saying in around?
That's right.
So despite the huge amounts of people, I suppose, waiting, it's going to take, and we don't want it to happen to anyone, but it's going to take literally something really bad to happen, an emergency, to have someone not competing this, it would seem, because everyone wants a piece of it like the year that's in it, don't they?
Yeah, but as Tony will tell you there, and she's seen it in the town here for years, this is what people would regard as the Olympics. So no matter what it's going to take, this is the one they want to do. They're doing all the other events to prepare for this one, being the bigger ones, though.
This is the one. Like, and I mean, you were mentioning earlier that everybody was going to Limerick and, to kind of prepare for Donegal. And I think Declan was kind of saying that he hasn't had an awful lot of seat time. But the beautiful thing about Donegal is, in terms of a championship, is that when you get through the 3 days, you genuinely have done 3 other events, essentially. So it's not only is it famous for the stages, and the stages are incredible, and the crack's incredible, and the organization's incredible, but the actual mileage that you get under your belt as well is phenomenal. Like in terms of wanting to get seat time.
And the view.
300 kilometers, isn't it? I think in around. I think I was doing a bit of homework earlier. I was in around that. I think.
In and around that, yeah.
That's mad. 20 stages.
Yeah. Some bit of kind of driving and kind of shouting for 3 days. Like, I mean, it's just non-stop for the entire team. Did you pack
the strepsils, boys?
Yeah.
No, I find it a bit like going to Weight Watchers. You lose about a stone between now and Monday morning.
It would be remiss of us not to mention the juniors as well, actually. And I was going down through the entry list. I must try to bring it up on the screen here now again. But I think, was there 20 juniors as well? Am I right in saying that, in around that ballpark? I just lost it momentarily here.
It's 25.
Yeah. Wow. That's all I can say. Yeah. It's serious. And I suppose it's probably, I know, Brian, you're very much involved in the historics, and we will come back to that. But just to go down through the entry list and the first 10 cars in particular, and the first 10 modifieds, I don't know. There's no words really, is there?
No, I mean, I met a few guys. A few of us we were up in Recce the weekend, and we were in the HQ on Saturday night, like meeting a few. And it was actually Liam Brennan, like, and he made a comment. He says, if any of the top 10 or 15, if one of those wins the modified, no one will bat an eyelid. They'll say, yeah, fair play, well done. Like, there'll be no surprises. So, like, there's 15, 20 crews there in the modifieds. Any of them could win it and deserve it. It's just fantastic. Like, it's just, I wouldn't like to be trying to place bets and trying to get on.
I've just realized, actually, this is the first event where the likes of Declan Gallagher and Kevin Eves and Gary Kiernan are competing on an equal footing with everybody. There's no national rally. So if Kevin Eves is fifth tomorrow night, he's fifth in the rally.
Yeah, overall.
This is the first time I think. Yeah, it is the first time that has happened here because we're running different regulations.
That'll be incredible to see.
Yeah. So, like, wherever they finish, that's their point as opposed to separate. And where I came from that was with the historics. People, I suppose, apologies and forgive my turn of phrase, historically, people would say, the historics, they're going handy at the back of the field. But I think a man who's since passed, a nice guy actually, was Desi Nutt. About 20 years ago, he stood up at a prize giving in Killarney. And I think the historics, it was the Rally of the Lakes, and the historics are running at the back of the field back then. And historic rallying was only just starting, and Daisy was a brilliant campaigner and a champion for many years in that historic championship. But he passed a remark at the prize given, which got a lot of people, myself included, to sit up and take a bit of notice. He just said, lads, just, I know you all think we're tipping about at the back of the field. Now, I can't remember the exact result, but I think he said, if I was in the main rally with the rest of you, we'd have finished as at 9th or 10th or 11th or something. I went, what? You're going that quick? Right. Wow. Didn't think that. Yeah. And then if you go back only 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I've lost track of time with COVID, I guess. But when Rob Duggan, Craig Breen, and I think we finished third that year, Owen and I, those guys, we were quicker than, maybe not all of us, but certainly for the most part, we were quicker than all the modifieds in the historic cars. I think Brian might be able to relate to that. I think was the, Rob Duggan won the rally, but would he have won the modifieds? But they were quicker. It was first time ever the historic rally was faster than the modified rally that went behind it.
Yeah.
So
that's giving you a flavour of where things are. Yeah. I'd like to, just before we go any further and go back to the historics in a bit more detail or whatever, I want to go through the standings in general. So in the International, Josh Moffat on 62 points, Callum Devine 41, Marion Evans 38, Andy Hayes on 65 as co-driver, JJ on 40, and Gordy Noble on 35. The modified, it's just what triggered me to go and check this was when you were talking about how tight the modified battle is going to be. Well, in the standings, Daniel McKenna and Simon Reid are both on 31 points. James Stafford on 27. And it's mad. And as we said, the historics is tight as we mentioned. The juniors, Jason Farrell has been flying it. He's on 51. Ryan McHugh then is on 43. We have tried to get Jason Farrell on a few times. It's just not his thing. But we will work on getting junior competitors on as well. It's not for everyone. We always make the effort just to put it out there, and I think people are aware of that as well, but just in case anyone aren't. James Anthony, you have a great bit of ambience there in the background.
It's weird you should say that. I'm after getting the text from one of our contributors, the hero of Killarney, Tommy Coman, who I'm sure you know. He says, pan the camera so we can see the helicopter. What the frig is he? Obviously, I've had some comment. Helicopter. There's sheep. If I talk loudly, there's a cockerel over in that shed, and he woke me this morning at 7 o'clock. There's only sheep. There's only sheep in mountains, Tommy.
We'll have to select our next outside broadcast a bit more carefully, I think. But,
I said I couldn't leave this. I'd sit here all day. I just see Stuart is back with the dinner now. We'll sit out here and eat.
Right, well, we won't keep it too much longer. We do try to keep these podcasts in around the hour mark as well. We're gone to an hour and 6, so we'll try to wrap it up shortly. Brian, just an overview of the historics in general. I know Tommy gave us good insight into it the last time out. Maybe you give us that, and who you think, being unbiased, of course, in your own category, is going to take each of the categories this weekend.
That's a very hard one. I mean, for ourselves, our priority is the championship. So I mean, we'd be looking at the guys who are around us who are in the championship.
I may mute Anthony's microphone there for a second. Hold on. Right. No, go on.
Yeah, for ourselves, our plan is championship points and pace ourselves accordingly and see where that ends up. Definitely out front. I mean, any of the top 5 there are definitely top 6. Even Richard Hall goes very quick as well. So I think any of those are capable of being on the podium, being first over the ramp on Sunday evening. I know Ryan Barrett has a very good car this weekend. I know the car I think he's taking. Marion Evans is there. He's actually got Anthony O'Sullivan, who's I think nearly level with me in drop scores in the championship. So I have an interest in that car as well. Whereas Marion's not registered, but Anthony's registered. So I think, look, it's I think just stick a pen in the page and see where it lands. That's how you decide who's going to win this.
Mm-hmm. Same for all the categories, you could say, really.
Definitely.
Anyway, look, and we'll give Rally.ie a mention as well while we have you here. It'd be remiss of us not to do that. Thanks for joining us this evening. The best luck, all right?
Thank you for having us.
See you, Brian. Good luck.
Okay. I'm going to come to you first, Tony, and then I'll go back to Anthony because the ambience might overpower everything. What's your predictions then for the weekend?
Do you know, I'm the same as Brian. Like, I honestly, and I'm not even trying to be politically correct or anything. Like, I just genuinely, I don't know how you could pick. Like, it's, you know, in all the categories, like, it's genuinely such a tight field. Like, I think, you know, in terms of the international, again, like, it's so hard. Like, it genuinely is. I don't know, because kind of what goes to my mind with Donegal always is the length of the rally itself, the 3 days. So it's not even about kind of the quickest guy out there. It's about whose car is going to last the entire time, or who is not going to have a moment that costs them a fortune of time, or do you know, that sort of way. Like, it's just, I don't mean to be no crack now, Kevin, but I don't think I could pick.
Yeah, simple as that.
Simple
okay, that's
as
fair
that.
enough.
Like, I think I genuinely, I'm actually for the first time genuinely excited to see who will do it. Do you know, that kind of way? Like, I just haven't. I can't pick.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Well, listen, before we say goodbye to you, when I asked the question earlier, just while we were live on air, in terms of doing a rally and Donegal being there in comparison to Rally Ireland, I did not mean to bring up the what happened in 07. That was not my intentions whatsoever.
Not at all.
I was thinking about it afterwards. I was like, oh,
not
geez.
at all. I'm sure this is, honest to God, this is just rallying. Like, and
yeah.
you know, I was so lucky for so long that, like, I went through so many rallies with such a clean slate. Like, and you know, the thing about it was the accident in Rally Ireland in 07 wasn't even that bad in comparison to what we've seen in our lifetime of rallying and you know, sort of damage to cars and stuff. It actually genuinely wasn't that bad of an accident. Hence me going to Galway in 08 and being like, what's wrong with me? Why am I panicked? But it's all part and parcel, you know. No bad memories. Hypnotherapy cleared all them out. So any mileage is good mileage now.
In an indirect way, it led you down a career path, didn't it?
100%. I've had this conversation so much recently with people that, even literally last night with somebody, where I was talking about how genuinely how rallying has every single, whether it's you know, the RPM stuff or the rally radio stuff, my driving school, the hypnotherapy now, like, they have all come from rallying, you know, in some way, shape or form. Like, my love for driving and my love for rallying. So it has fully led to this moment. Like, so again, I would be quite optimistic as well as a person in general. So I like, there's no bad moments. Like, they all teach you something and they all lead to something better. So it gave me a career, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we would like to have you on again here at some stage if you want to join us. If we haven't scared you off,
anytime, Kevin. Not at all.
Yeah,
anytime.
Thanks a million for jumping on. And enjoy the weekend. Anthony's going to say something there first. Yeah.
Just before you go, Tony. Firstly, apologies. Can you hear that background?
Genuinely,
we can hear the wee sheep chatting to you.
You can. Because I have the headset.
I didn't mute you to be a dick rat, like.
No, it doesn't matter a damn. I didn't realize that you can hear them because with this thing on. But I must apologize. I'm sure he's still logged on. I'll text him. Apologies for the fit of laughing that I got during Brian's interview. But to be fair, I have to tell you the text I got. I won't say who it is because he'll kill me. He reckons that the sheep are having a protest vote over Tony's iron jumper. And that's why they're kicking up a stink here. How sad is that? Like, and the minute I saw it, Brian,
They can
was
see.
talking, I got a fit of laugh, but I couldn't.
I know.
Picture of a little sheep and all here, brilliant.
Well, I have to say now, I'm very grateful to those sheep for donating their coats every year. They're keeping me very warm here now down by the beach.
Well, yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Good stuff. Tony Kelly, thanks a million.
Guys, thanks for having me, and thanks for
Appreciate
all of the conversations you have on this show.
Good night.
No problem.
Cheers.
Good night.
Delighted to have them. Anthony, just before I finish up, there's a couple of comments that I want to get through. One of them was is Anthony on a farm? Yeah, he is pretty much. Another person says Manus was a gent. Yes, he was. Another one says, Anthony, you're correct. A Chevette before the Cosy. That's in relation to Declan's uncles.
Yes, that's right. This would be the Chevette, I would remember. That's right.
Yeah, well done, Eamonn McGee, one of the most genuine COCs and a very competitor-friendly person. Good man, Art. That's in relation to Art McCarry getting his promotion. Well done again on that.
Yes, that's right.
And another one. What's Anthony's favourite Donegal stage?
Oh, Knockalla, I guess. Hence, we're sitting at the bottom of it. It's a funny, when we locked into the house here last night, there was a letter from the club through the door. And I went, Jesus, what am I out to do? No, what's wrong? And I started reading this, so it's telling me they would be blocked in tomorrow.
All right.
The next day, we're on location. So if you go out to the bottom of the passage here and just go 100 yards, the flying finish of Knockalla is just 100 yards up here on the right. Right. It's a lovely, lovely part of the country. It's just, you can just chill and relax here.
Brian Duggan is actually still there, and I wanted to pay a tribute to John Flynn. Brian, you're still with us, yeah?
I'm still here, yeah. I'm still listening away, yeah. It's great. Actually, you can listen to the background, so it's great.
Yeah, I know we'd mentioned John there earlier, so maybe you'll say a few words before we do let you go again.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, has been on social media and that today, John Flynn passed away after a recent illness. You know, the word gentleman gets used around a lot, but I think as someone said today on the comments on Facebook, I mean, we've lost a true gentleman, and that's very true. I mean, most people, to most competitors, he's the guy who does Park Farm out, and then who does car accountability for the day. So you hope you don't see him again until the bar that evening. But you know, over the years, I mean, what he's done for rallying and motorsport, like he was, for example, like he was Maurice Nagel's right-hand man for the start of the historics, for the first couple of years of the historics. He was very much involved in autocross as well in Killarney, especially with the timing systems, which can be complex enough for, you know, when they're lapping lap course and that. And for me personally, he got me my first couple of spins in night navs and retros. You know, Kevin, you're probably a bit young to know what retros are, but when we were starting out, we used to get spins in retros as well. And it was John Flynn showed me the ropes and got me in spins, and even brought me to events when I was still only in college. So we've lost a true gentleman.
We'd like to pass on our condolences as well here.
Yeah, so condolences to his daughters and his sisters and all the extended family, and to all the circular friends.
He was a great wingman. It was a Darren McCormack from the COC from Killarney. They were a bit like, to quote a Top Gun analogy, they were a bit like Maverick and Goose from the original film. They were, every time you saw one, you saw the other. They were always doing car accountability after they did the Park Farm out in West Cork and Killarney. And a very, very calm man would be my memory of him. If we were arriving late or whatever the case may be. He was a very calming influence. Big, towering, big, tall man. Very calming man to meet on your travels.
Yeah, like I've been I was out of stage rallying for 6 years since I competed, and back in Bana, started in Bana last year, and who was doing the control out of Park Farm, only John Flynn. And I would say that the previous rally I done 6 years ago on the Fastnet, he was doing the same job. So you know, it was like just something's never changed.
Brian, thanks a million. Great words there. Appreciate it. Cheers. Anthony, before I go, I want to ask you something of a reason for this now. The Swilly ferry that you got earlier. What's the price of getting on that? Now, there's a reason for asking.
I think it's €17 one way, and I'm not sure Stuart is inside cooking that enough, but could be 20-something euro return. I'm at to let myself in for something here now. What do you want to do?
on my last trip to Donegal in 2019, we were supposed to marshal a certain stage on the Friday. So I was
Yes.
helping out Derry Cummins, and he had, in fairness, he had a crew of about 15 people. And I think there was 3 cars and a camper went onto this Swilly ferry. And the reason was it probably wasn't going to take much quicker. But I think Mick Bracken had asked Derry to go onto the Swilly ferry so that he could throw up the drone, and that the drone would capture us coming in, and we waving up the drone. And gosh, it was great. But 17/3, and then the camper, I think, was, I don't know what it was. I don't want to cast any aspersions, but it was dearer than 17 anyway. That's fine anyway. We drive off the Swilly ferry, go around the corner. Derek rings my phone. Actually, he didn't. In fairness, he has radios that he uses on the stages, and he gives everyone a radio on the car. And he says, lads, we have to go to another stage, and it's only down the road. I said, gosh, that's grand, no bother. Bearing in mind, we had left from Ramelton. Here we were back at the Letterkenny roundabout.
All right. That's not good.
So it was over €100 went to the Swilly ferry. So, and do you know what? They're getting free advertising now as well. So
Like, we put a post up on Facebook today because we were looking at that one. We says, yeah, this is the way to go here. And we were so thrilled. I said, yes, there's no other competitors on this. So we said it to the guys, but I'm afraid we weren't the first. I think they told us Jonathan Pringle was the first.
Yeah.
And
I think Eamon Kelly was on it as well.
Was there? Yeah, the boys were able to tell us all the competitors who were on it anyway. They were.
It is handy though, in fairness.
Brilliant. I'd never seen it. I just looked, I observed it on the map, and I went, yeah, that's worth a look. We could recce here, snip across the peninsula, go straight at it, 20-minute run. So yeah, we're glad. And I should look just like everything. It was a bit of fun and a bit of sport. So,
so just to go through the stages, 20 of them, of course. Friday we kick off with Dewish Hill. That's 1 and 4. Ongrenon then is 2 and 5. Moving on to Moley Hill, that'll be 3 and 6. Cairn Hill will be 7, 10 and 13. Fannet Head. Now there's a variation on that for stage 14, I think. So stage 8 and 11
kilometers long at the last run.
Yeah, stage 8 and 11, and there's 14 as well, a variation of it, as we said there. Knockgalla 9 and 12. Garton then, the famous Garton, 15 and 18. Highland 16 and 19. Atlantic Drive 17, and finishing up things as well. That is what is laid on. All I can say is the very best luck, Anthony. Looking forward to catching up with you again next Tuesday. We'll do it again at 8:30 to be consistent. You sure be back and idle at that point, I'd say, and the chips got in the whole lot, will you?
Oh, I'd say so, yes.
Good man. Well, the very best luck. All right, thanks for joining us again. Good man. Anthony Nestor on the outside broadcast there this evening. That man could crop up anywhere and pop up anywhere. We want to say thanks again to our sponsors, treerock.ie, display signage brand. You can check them out on Facebook and on Instagram. They're on Twitter there as well. They've been with us for the full Tarmac Championship. So we really appreciate their support. As we said, we're back again next Tuesday at 8:30. The very best luck to all the competitors, all the organisers, marshals, stage commanders, the whole kit and caboodle. 50th anniversary event, a testament to everyone involved in it. And we wish them all the very best luck. Until next Tuesday, thanks also to our guests, I should say, for joining us this evening. But until next Tuesday, take care. Chat to you then.